Hey guys, so let's discuss round one from Amazon, and which will be your introduction plus leadership principle round. Okay, so here we will be discussing around 11 questions about the where you will introduce yourself. Okay, and then you will include leadership principles into your answers. Okay, or the star method, let's say. So here we have three rules, let's say. Okay, so one is software engineer, second is senior software engineer, and third one is architect level person. So for each question we will be seeing that how these persons will answer. Okay, what answer the person will give. Okay, or the interviewer is expecting. So like for example, see, a software engineer is expected to demonstrate ownership and technical depth. Okay, so software engineer should have the ownership and technical depth based questions, because that is what relevant for his experience, right? Year of experience. Software engineer generally 3 to 6 years we will be considering. Okay, and then senior software engineers, so they should additionally show leadership and cross team collaboration. Okay, and we will be seeing that like around 7 to 12 years of experience. Okay, let's say, and then above that would be the architect. Okay, and what architect would be expected? So an architect principal engineer must think in terms of organization wide impact. Okay, which will include multiple teams, and then long-term strategies and business outcomes. So the biggest mistake candidate make is giving generic answers. So you don't need to give generic answers, and you should use let's say star method. What is a star? So Amazon interviewers are looking for a star format. Okay, now what is a star? A star is your situation, task, action, and result. Okay, star, STAR, with metrics and clear alignment to leadership principle. So star means, see, first you will tell them that what was the situation. Okay, now you will tell them T stands for task. So what task you are facing, like you would have given. Okay, then after that A is action, what action you took on that task, and then R is for the result, what was the outcome. So now for example, for this question, right, for this question's answer, walk me through your career journey. Okay, so let's say you can say anything, okay, according to your experience, but here let's take one, let's talk about the answer, generic answer. Okay, so the software engineer, because he has a 3 to 6 years of experience, okay, not much experience. So he would be saying that I started my career as Java backend engineer, where I worked on REST API. Let's say he's a Java developer, okay, Spring Boot application and SQL databases during my first few years. I focused on writing clean, maintainable code and understanding software design principles. Okay, all the technical things. Now, as I gained experience, I started owning complete feature from requirement discussion to deployment production support. Okay, from implementation to deployment and production support also. Then I also became comfortable working with Kafka, Docker, CI/CD pipeline, and AWS services. Now, over the last few years, I have developed strong debugging and production troubleshooting skills. I enjoy solving complex backend problem, improving system performance, and delivering reliable software. Now I'm looking for the opportunity where I can work on system as at much larger scale, because Amazon is working on the larger scale, right? Lots of customer. Um, and then learn from strong engineers and contribute to customer focused product, which is why Amazon excites me. Now let's see what senior software engineer is expected to answer. Okay, again, answer you can give anything. Okay, these are just the you can say these are just the examples. Okay, or you can use this one also if it matches your profile. Then senior software engineers 7 to 12 years of experience. So what would be expected there? Okay, so let's say he will say that I have around 12 years of backend engineering experience, primarily in Java, Spring Boot, Kafka, microservices, AWS, and distributed systems. My career started as an individual contributor, okay, but over the time I naturally moved into technical leadership. Now here leadership would be expected from you. Today I own large backend services, lead architecture discussion, mentor engineers, okay, juniors, and then conduct design review and drive production excellence. Now, one area I have particularly enjoyed is modernizing legacy applications. Okay, so let's say you have worked on some migration works, or worked on some monolithic to microservices conversion work. Okay, so legacy application. Okay, then into scalable microservices while ensuring zero downtime during migration. I'm in my current role, I work closely with product manager, QA team, DevOps, and business stakeholder to deliver customer facing features. Along with feature development, I focus heavily on scalability, observability, operational excellence, and cost optimization. I am now looking to solve problem at Amazon scale. Again, Amazon scale, okay, where engineering discussion impact millions of customers. Now, what principal engineer or architect would answer for this question? Okay, so for each question you will have a different answers according to your role. Okay, so you just need to give that kind of answer and not the generic one. So now principal engineer or architect, he would be giving that throughout my career I have gradually evolved in writing software to designing large scale distributed systems and influencing engineering direction across multiple teams. Okay, my responsibilities include defining architecture. Now here architecture part comes, making long-term technical decisions, improving engineering standards, mentoring senior engineers, okay, not the junior, senior engineers, and driving organization-wide initiatives such as platform modernization, cloud migration, reliability improvement, and cost optimization. So all those kind of word you have to use. Now, I believe architecture is not about drawing diagrams, okay? It's about making practical decisions that improve customer experience while balancing scalability, availability, maintainability, and business goals. Business goal is very important, right? So, Amazon offers an environment where solving large-scale engineering challenges directly impact customers globally, and that's exactly the type of environment I'm looking for. So, this kind of answer you have to give for this question. Now, the next one is why Amazon? Okay, so software engineer would answer that Amazon builds a product that operates at massive scale, requires solving challenging engineering problem. I want to work with the environment where engineering excellence is valued, where I can learn from experienced engineers, and where customer obsession drives technical discussion. Okay, so now second, senior software engineer, what he would be answering here, what attracts me most is Amazon's engineering culture. Okay, engineers are expected to own problem end to end rather than simply implementing tickets. I enjoyed taking ownership, improving system, and making data driven decisions. I also appreciate Amazon's focus on operational excellence, automation, and continuous improvement. Okay, so now here he is not talking much about technical things, but he is talking about leadership, ownership, and all those things. Ownership is important for software engineer also. Now architect, what architect would answer here? See, Amazon provides an opportunity to design system that serves millions of customer worldwide. Okay, organization wide decisions. The culture encourages long term thinking, measurable business impact, and technical leadership. Okay, those align well with the type of engineering problems I enjoy solving. Now the third question would be, let's say, so any question could come to you. Okay, so we are just seeing all the possibilities. So the third question could be like, which Amazon leadership principle best describes you? Okay, so see here in this interview loop series for Amazon, I will be creating around 11 round for the Amazon. Okay, whenever you will interview with Amazon, you will have an interview with Amazon. That's possible that you might be having 4 or 5 rounds. Okay, but we'll be seeing here 11 rounds, and we'll be trying to cover almost everything, right? So that's why. So it's not like that you will face all 11 rounds. Okay, now the third question could be like, which Amazon leadership principle best describes you? So Amazon engineer, so ownership. Okay, the first one is ownership, because software engineer would say about ownership, right? Ownership best describes me. Whenever I develop a feature, I don't stop after writing code. I ensure proper testing, deployment, monitoring, and documentation, not only implementation. Okay, and production support. If an issue occurs in production, I take responsibility for resolving it instead of assuming another team owns it. Right now, senior software engineer, what he will say? So he will say ownership plus dive deep. Okay, so ownership and dive deep defines my working style. I like understanding system beyond my immediate code base during incidents. Okay, I investigate logs, metrics, infrastructure, database performance, and application behavior until I identify the actual root cause. So now, the architect, what he will say, think big and ownership. So ownership will be everywhere. Like think deep, deep dive. These things will be included. Okay. So now, architect will say that think big combined with ownership best represents me. I focus on building reusable platform rather than isolated solutions. Okay, not the team wise but the organization wide, where one solution you can reuse, all teams can reuse. Okay, let's say you have created one framework, so every team will use that framework, right? Not every team has to implement from starting. Okay, now before making architectural decision, I consider long-term scalability, operational cost, and impact across multiple engineering teams. So he will do that impact analysis or cost analysis. Okay, now fourth one will be tell me about a project you completely owned. So what software engineer will answer for this? See, I own implementation of a notification system service. So now I gathered requirement, designed REST API, implemented backend services using Spring Boot, integrated Kafka for the asynchronous processing, wrote automated test, created deployment pipeline, and then monitoring production after release. So all the complete product life cycle, you can say. Okay, the service proposed approximately 5 lakh notification per day with over 99.9% success rate, while reducing notification latency by 40%. See, I have created separate playlist, okay, for this Kafka system design, AI system design, or DSA. Okay, you just go with my page, my channel, go to playlist section, and you will see lots of playlist. Okay, so now here we have seen that what software engineer will answer. He will answer according based technically. Okay, like he will own the complete product, let's say. So all the life cycle. Okay, now senior software engineer, what he will say. So I led migration of a legacy monolithic payment module into microservices. Okay, he led the team. I defined the architecture, broke the migration into phases, coordinated multiple teams, reviewed code, monitor deployment, and handle production rollout. So all the leadership kind of work he has done. Okay, lead kind of thing. So the migration reduced deployment time from several hours to under 20 minutes and improved systems availability while enabling faster feature delivery. Okay, now where architect will come, what architect will answer for this question? What was the question? Question was, tell me about a project you completely owned. So we have seen senior software engineer and senior software engineer answer. Okay, now let's see what architect will answer for this. So I own organization API modernization platform. Okay, so he's talking about a platform, okay, organizational wide platform, and not the one particular project. Instead of modernizing application individually, I designed a shared platform used by multiple teams. I defined architecture, migration strategy, governance, reusability, library observability standards, and deployment guidelines. So see, he is talking here about the platform. He's talking here about the strategy. He's talking here about the governance, okay, which is organization wide. He's talking about here reusable libraries, then observability standards, okay, not for one project but for entire organization, and deployment guidelines. Okay, so not one deployment but the deployment guidelines which will suits for all the projects of the organization. So here you can see the levels of roles they're expecting, right? And this is not only for Amazon, this is common for all the interview for all software engineering background, you can say it, right? So once you are preparing here, you can use that in different companies. It is not only Amazon specific questions. So now the platform significantly reduces duplicate development effort, accelerate modernization across teams. Now the question fifth would be, what's the biggest mistake you have made? Okay, so what software engineer would say, early in my career, I deployed a feature without considering edge cases, so involving null values. It causes production failure and a small percentage of users. So failure for a small percentage of users. So I immediately rolled back the deployment, fixed the issue, and added unit test and integration test, and introduced better code review checklist. So since then, I always think about failure scenarios before deployment. Okay, so leadership principle, learn and be curious. This one is the leadership principle of the Amazon. We will see at the end what are all the leadership principles of the Amazon. Okay, in this video only. Now, what senior software engineer will answer for this question? What's the biggest mistake you have made? Okay, so senior software engineer would say that I underestimated the complexity of migration project and committed to an aggressive delivery timeline. This is common. This is common mistake all do, right? Because initially you don't have that broad understanding of the things, right? So that's why. So that is very common mistake what everybody will make, and that's fine. That's completely fine. So midway through execution, we identified several hidden dependencies that delayed the project. I communicated the risk early, adjusted the plan, prioritized the critical functionality, and improved our estimation process by involving all the dependence team during planning. That experience taught me importance of validating assumption before making commitments. Okay, validating assumptions before making commitment. Okay, so now what architect will answer for this? Architect will answer that I once optimized a system primarily technical elegance without fully understanding the actual business priorities. Okay, here he is talking about the priorities, business priorities. Although I design was although the design was scalable, okay, it delayed feature and delivery unnecessarily. Okay, it delayed the feature delivery unnecessarily. Okay, because he has prioritized that task first. Since then, I ensured architectural decision balance technical excellence with business value. Okay, it's not like whatever is the business value is that's on the first priority. Let's say you have to deliver a feature, okay, but because of your technical some, you are doing some technical changes to make the system better, so it should not delay your feature delivery, because that is the on the highest priority, right? Now question 6th will be, what's the hardest production issue you have solved? So software engineer will answer that users reported intermittent API timeout, okay, couldn't be reproduced in test environment. I analyzed log. Okay, first what he has on analyzed log, thread dumps, and then database. Just 2 minutes. Yeah, okay. So what he has realized, they see what he has analyzed: thread dump, database queries, logs, application metrics. Okay, eventually I identified a connection pool exhaustion issue caused by unreleased database connection during the exception handling. He has checked all the things like log, database queries, application metrics, thread dumps. Okay, but where was the issue? The issue was in connection pool. Okay, connection pool exhaustion. Because it was there were some unreleased connections. Okay, they were not closing the connection, and that's why they were getting that issue. So okay, this is one just scenario. You can give your answer. Okay, it's just what is the level of answer is required, we are seeing here. Okay, or you can use as is this one only. So after fixing the code, improving monitoring, timeout errors dropped by over 95%. So now what senior software engineer will answer? So this was the answer from software engineer. Now what will be the senior software engineer expected to answer for what's the hardest production issue you have solved? So senior software engineer will say that we experienced a cascading failure, okay, where one downstream dependency became slow, eventually exhausting thread pool across multiple services. Okay, I introduced a circuit breaker timeout policy, retries with exponential bake-off, bulkhead, and better observability. All these things we have discussed in system design videos. Okay, so now the improvement significantly increased resilience during similar failure. Okay, next time that failure not occur. So now what architect will answer for this question? So a regional infrastructure outage affected multiple customer facing application. Here he is talking about the regional outage, okay, which occur in multiple regions. I coordinated engineering team, prioritized customer recovery, redirected traffic, enable failover, and later redesigned the architecture for multi-region resilience. So here he is talking about the multi-region things. Okay, the design sustainability reduced recovery time for future incidents. So now the seventh question is which achievement had the biggest business impact? So what software engineer would say for this is I optimized an API that reduced average response time to 1.8 seconds to 350 millisecond. That's a good one, right? Customer complaints decreased significantly and infrastructure utilization improved. Now, what senior software engineer for answer this will answer this? The achievement which has the biggest business impact. So he would say that I led migration that reduced deployment frequency from once every 2 weeks to multiple deployment per day. Okay, earlier they were doing once in 2 weeks, and now they are doing per day. What are the benefit for this? See, faster releases enables the business to deliver features much more quickly while reducing operational risk, right? Instead of deploying everything at once, just deploy small things. Okay, feature delivery. Architect will answer for this is I design a reusable platform adopted across multiple engineering teams. He will always talk about multiple teams. Okay, now organization level, reducing duplicate development effort in improving engineering consistency and lowering long-term maintenance cost. So now the eighth one is, let's say the next question is how do your teammate describes you? Okay, so software engineer would say like reliable. Okay, reliable, and then collaborative and calm during production incidents. Okay, I'm someone people trust to investigate difficult problems and follow through until they are resolved. So now what senior software engineer would say for this is they describe me as approachable. Okay, approachable, and then technically strong, and someone who mentors other while maintaining high engineering standards. So now what is expected from architect then in this case? So they seem to me as someone who simplifies complex technical problem. Okay, align teams toward a common architecture and makes balanced decision that consider both engineering and business needs. Now the ninth question is we'll be talking about 11 questions. Okay, so this is the ninth one. So it is already 22 minutes. Earlier I thought that I will be creating only one video for all the rounds, but it would be very impossible because if each round is of about 22 minutes, then it would be around 3 or 4 hours video, right? So that is not possible. So that's why I have decided to break it into small chunks. So now the next question is, tell me about a decision that saved significant cost. Okay, so software engineer would answer, I identified an expensive API being called repeatedly for the same data. I introduced caching with appropriate invalidation policies, reducing external API call by 70% and improving response time. So instead of one service was calling again and again for the same data, so he introduced caching there. Okay, so then it has reduced external API call by 70%. Now senior software engineer expected to answer for this the decision that saved significant cost. So like he will say that I analyzed cloud utilization and found several services significantly over provisioned. Okay, you don't require that much resource for that service, but still you have it is over provisioned. So after load testing and right size of resources with auto scaling, we reduced monthly infrastructure cost by approximately 30% without affecting reliability. Okay, and then architect, what he will say that I designed a shared platform that eliminated duplicate infrastructure across multiple teams. Standardization reduced operational overhead, licensing cost, and engineering effort while improving maintainability. Next question will be, what's something you built from scratch? So software engineer will say, I designed, implemented document management service. Okay, let's say microservice, including database schema, REST API, authentication, testing, CI/CD monitoring, and production deployment. It now serves multiple internal applications. What senior software engineer will say, I built an event-driven notification platform using Kafka that support email, SMS, push notification. It handles millions of events, reliable, and provides retry, dead letter queue, monitoring, horizontal scalability. Okay, all the infrastructure level things you can say. You can add asynchronous processing and all. Okay. Now architect, what he will say that I created an internal engineering platform that standardized logging, monitoring, authentication, deployment pipeline, and service template, enabling team to build new services without much more efficiently. okay, services much more efficiently. So like he is talking here about engineering platform, okay, and he's building all the things which gets used by all other projects, okay, other teams, and they don't need to put then much effort there in that particular task. Now, tell me about a time when you had very little information. Okay, so software engineer, he would be saying that during a production issue, user reported intermittent failure without consistent logs. Okay, he was not having log, but user was saying there is an issue, and that to the intermittent issue. Okay, intermittent failure. I started by collecting available metrics, reproducing scenarios, reviewing recent deployments, and isolating potential causes. Through systematic elimination, I identified a race condition under high concurrency. We fixed the issue, added concurrency test, and improved monitoring. Okay, so just see that how he is finding the root cause, right? First, what he did, he started collecting first available metrics, then reproducing scenario, okay, then reviewing recent deployments, isolating potential causes through systematic elimination, okay, and then later he found that it is race condition due to concurrency, high concurrency. So here the leadership principle what he is using is bias for action and then deep dive. Okay, senior software engineer, he would be saying that a new business requirement lacked a detailed specification. Instead of waiting, I worked with the stakeholders, clarify assumptions, build a small proof of concept, gathered feedback, and iteratively refined the solution. This introduced the rework, and this reduced the rework and accelerated delivery. Okay, so he has done some POC work with the stakeholder, and yeah, they move forward. Then architect, what the architect will say here, we needed to select a long-term architecture for new platform with uncertain future demand. Okay, now I evaluated multiple options, built prototypes and high risk assumptions, define measurable decision criteria, and choose an architecture that balanced current needs with future scalability. This allowed the organization to move forward confidently despite limited initial information. So now here what I was talking about Amazon leadership principles. So these are the leadership principle. Okay, what Amazon interviewers want to hear here, not only Amazon interviewer, any interviewer, right? So across all levels, interviewer consistently look for these qualities. The first one is customer obsession. Okay, so explain how your work improved to customer experience. Second one is ownership. So describe what you did, not what team did. Okay, then data driven results, so quantify impact with metrics whenever possible, like latency, cost, throughput, availability, revenue, engineering productivity. So you need to quantify impact, okay, with these metrics. So that data driven results you have to give them. Now Amazon leadership principle is naturally demonstrated principles like ownership, deep drive, bias for action, invent and simplify, learn and be curious, and deliver results. Okay, and the last one is reflection. So each story and each story with your learn and how it changed your approach. Okay, so that was the round one. Let's talk about round two in the next video. Thank you.